What's up, guys? Today I decided to do a video and maybe help you guys out. I know it helped myself out, so that's a good thing. But anyway, the Anchor Boulder LC90 flashlight I got, and the Chinese 90,000, 100,000, 120,000, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it 1500 lumen to 1700 lumen. All right, so I'm looking around for new cells. Why? Because it's, Chinese junk. I rather buy Japanese cells, and that's what I'm looking for. So first, we're going to start off with this Anchor Boulder LC90. Takes an 18650. The 18 is the first number, which is the diameter of the cell, which I will bring in the focus now, or try to. So that's the diameter, 18 millimeters. And you're going to run into some that say 18.2, 18.1, 18.3, 18.4. It's going to fit. Okay, it's not a real big deal. If you're dealing with inches, the diameter is 726 thousandths of an inch. That's slightly under 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4 of an inch is 750. And if you want to do the math, then subtract 726 from that 750. That'll give you the difference. That will be the diameter. Now, the important part here, and this is where it kind of had me. The length of this is much longer than the 65, because that's your next two numbers. In 18650, your next two numbers is 65. That indicates a 65 millimeter length. So that's the length, 65 millimeters from that end to this end over here. And yeah, you're looking at 68.3 millimeters on the screen right now. Why is that? Well, it happens to be that this cell here is protected. So that's the back of the cell right here. That's negative. That's the positive. And it does not have a button. It's a flat top. This here, I ran my fingernail and I ran it around. So I know there is a circuit there. I'm going to link in the description a guide that shows you how to remove the protected cell. Back in the day, yes, you need it, and well, you didn't need to, but it was a wise decision, to get a protected cells. These days you don't need to, because of the way the flashlights are constructed, the way the chargers are constructed. So it's not necessary to run a protected cell. Also, when you run a protected cell, it's kind of, holding that cell back from giving out what it should be giving out. So make sure you check his video out. I will say this. If I hold that up, you can see the indentation there, and then right there, there's a flat spot. Well, that flat spot runs all the way down right to the front, which is the positive. It doesn't touch the positive, but on that fella's video, he cuts the heat shrink off, and he'll remove this protected part, which is a circuit board, and it has adhesive going to the cell itself with that strip of metal down, and then it's spot welded up here too. So you got to rip that off. You got to be real careful with it, and make sure you don't, cause a problem for yourself. So anyway, with that said, the unprotected cell here, the width is going to stay the same, 726 thousandths of an inch, and 18 millimeters is what you're going to be at with any 18650 cell. So you're okay with that. Now the length, after I mic'd that out, it came out to 2.690 thousandths of an inch, and I'm like, what the hell is the difference with this shit? because the normal length is 65 millimeters, and it could vary anywhere from 65.3 to 65, as you see here. 7.6. You can round that up to 8, because if you did regular math in school, not that common core shit, you'd, you know, simplify things. Anything above 5 you round up. So 65.8 millimeters you're looking at roughly. And it's no big deal unless you don't have a spring or something inside your flashlight, the butt, or whatever. So 2 inches and 690 thousandths, and I converted 65.76 millimeters. Well, that gave me the 2 inches and 589 thousandths, which is the difference of 101 thousandths of an inch, which is 24 thousandths of an inch shy of 125, which is 1/8 of an inch. And that is 2.54 millimeters in the difference in the overall length of this cell. So that's a lot. I mean, you're talking almost 1/8 of an inch difference. And you know, in order for me to make sure it's going to fit in the flashlight, you know, that was something I was concerned about. So the anchor bolder, it does have 2 springs on the butt cap and towards the chip itself. So that's going to explain these figures here. Now on this Chinese one, this is a 26-650. Same deal here, 26 millimeters, okay? So your average diameter of this one, the diameter should be 26 millimeters, and it will vary. Like this is 26.11, well, 26.1. So it's going to vary a little there, but you got that. And for inches, it's 1.28 thousandths of an inch. So that's 1.028. And make sure you put the 0 in there, because if you don't, you're going to have the incorrect measurement in inches. So 1.28 thousandths of an inch. And basically that's an inch and a little less than 1/32 of an inch. The overall length of this thing that they spot welded together and then heat shrunk, because it's 2 batteries together, that's the negative, that's the positive. There's no protection on this cell. So the overall length is 5 inches, 328 thousandths of an inch. So it's a little over 5 inches and 5/16 of an inch, slightly over that. Because okay, I'm not gonna get into all of that. But anyway, it's 5 inches, 328 thousandths of an inch. So a little bit bigger, like I said, than 5/16 of an inch. And the conversion to millimeters would be 135.33 millimeters. That's what both cells now together. So what you're going to have to do is you got to buy 2 cells, right? Because you're not going to buy that. The Chinese did that to manufacture their flashlight. So we're going to come down here, and your you know, width is going to stay the same. And the approximate diameter of a 26-650 cell, which I like. I like these cells a lot. There's a lot of people out there that don't like them. They want to go with, you know, the newer cell, the 21-700, which to me is just stupid, honestly. But anyway, I'm getting off subject. 26.2 millimeters is roughly what that diameter is, and converting it to the inches is 1.028. or 1 inch 28 thousandths. But the most important part on this is the length, because we got to find out the next number is 65, the same as with the above cell that I mentioned. So if we come over here and look at the approximate length, it's 65 millimeters, but it's going to vary between 1 and 4 millimeters over. Not a big deal. And if we split the difference of 5 inches, 328 thousandths, divide that by 2, that's going to give us 2 inches and 664 thousandths of an inch, which is slightly over that 5/8 of an inch. So you got a little 2 and a little bit more than 5/8 of an inch on this cell. And what I did was I measured from the tip here, and then I ran my fingernail, and then I took my caliper on that end and here, and sure enough, it mic'd out to exactly 2 inches 664 thousandths of an inch. And that's going to give you the difference right here, 2.26 millimeters in the difference. So not that much, and it should work fine. So hopefully that explains things in inches and millimeters and thousandths of an inch, and hopefully it helps you find out how to, you know, go about shopping for these cells, because these cells seem to, with the vapors and, you know, all these people buying them up, and then you got the Chinese that, you know, just make the 26,650, it pisses you off. And then when you bring the chargers into it, you know, if you have a protected cell, it might not fit in your charger. And that brings me to my next subject, which is your chargers. So I will bring the chargers up. Okay, so here's the chargers that I would recommend. Now, this price to me is ridiculous, and you know, I asked the difference between the C4 and then the C4U. Now, you can use these chargers as power banks because they do have a USB output on the back of them, and you know, I'll leave them in the link in the description. I'm trying to find this one. Okay, here you go. Right there, you could see the arrow going in is what powers it, and the other one is the power bank. So like you put your cells that I just went over in there, all you need is one, because that's all that's going to register. You can power your phone and charge your phone, and that's a good thing. But the thing about this one is, I like the price, but it doesn't tell you, you know, the memory of the battery. So that's a big downfall. And then this here, I don't know why they have 2 of them, because you're not getting 2 of them, okay? It's $60.99 for one, and it does have a wall wart plug. So this is the good one. I personally wouldn't pay it, and somebody, I did ask a question in here, and they said it's appropriately priced. Well, I call bullshit on that, and I tell them to stick it up their ass, because it's not worth it. It really is not. You know, for a couple extra features on this one, it still does the same shit the other one does. And if I could get a picture, there you go. Okay, so you got the 5-volt output and regular USB, you know, it's the A, and this one here, see where my cursor is, it just gets plugged in, you know, like your typical wall wart. But I'm going to show you something, and this one here, it's $29.99, and it does the exact same thing as the Zanflare. And I saw some people, actually I saw one person, oh, it's a junk thing. Well, maybe to him it's junk, but I actually think it's a good charger and I would recommend it. I've been in, maybe not too much with the flashlights, but I used to build battery packs in the day, and you know, I know my shit with chargers and LiPos and all of this stuff. These new chargers I wasn't too familiar with, but this one here is basically this charger here, but cheaper, okay? It does the same damn thing, but for a cheaper price, and the only difference is, if I go back to this one here, you could see you got 4 individual screens. So you got, you know, 1 button, 2 button, 3 button, 4 button, and that's what you have over here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, and then you got the mode and current, and you got the mode and current here. It's just the LCD. So like when you press 1, you're operating that. When you're pressing 2, you're operating that. You're pressing 3, operating that. You're pressing 4, you're operating that. And you're able to see it all at once. And that's fine. The only difference here is when you press 1, the whole screen changes to channel 1. And so forth. Big deal. You know, you're saving, you get it for half price. So if you're in the market for the charger too, I'll link it in the description. In fact, I'll link all 3 of them in the description, and decide for yourself if you got money that you don't care about, you know, to burn just because it gives you a readout of 4 things right on the screen and it bothers you that much. You got to push the button anyway, so I don't know what the fuck the difference is, but anyway, you know, that's up to you. So hopefully that, you know, clears up everything about the cells, and when you're buying them, hopefully it clears it up about the chargers. The 21 700s don't fit in either of these chargers, so that sucks, and they're trying to push it, and that's Tesla for you, you know. They don't want the same cell, so it all boils down to proprietary rights, because you know, the 26650 is China made, and you know, we can't have China, we can't all get along in the fucking world, you know, we gotta have proprietary shit all the time.